A good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, as well as our podcasting stations. And tonight is Wednesday, and it is our conversation with In the Trenches with early educators. And these are the authors from a couple of the authors for book two. And I'd like to welcome all of them to the show. I know I got to get Tanya done very fast because she'll say I'm messing with her sleep. But Sharon, what's up?
Good evening, Quentin. How are you? How are you?
I'm great. I see we have three of the fabulous ladies, three of the authors here tonight.
We do. And I am going to allow them to introduce themselves momentarily. But you know what I have to do first? Got to get my shout outs in. And so, as usual, the intro is done by my middle son, Mark Allen, Mark the producer on Instagram, MARC _ the producer. You can find him on Instagram. Then, Quentin, we had our book launch on Sunday. And so I just want to shout out a few people that really made it special. Without them, it would not have been as great of an event. So I want to shout out, first of all, Jealous One Publishing, who is the publisher for our book. John McClung. You can find him on Facebook. I also want to shout out Platinum Image, Nia Malika Gossett, Toy Kelly. Without her, it just would not have been possible. She coordinated everything for us. So kudos to her. I want to thank Premier Playhouse for the event space. That is Clarissa Winston. You can also find her on Instagram at Premier Playhouse. And I want to shout out Heavenly Cakes. We had cake there, Quentin. She's Heavenly Cakes, and you can find them also on Facebook at Heavenly Cakes Cakery. So just wanted to shout out all our folks that helped to make our event so special. And thank you. So now I'm going to allow these wonderful ladies. I have Cindy McNeil, Tanya Camp, and Nay Walker with us tonight. And I'm going to allow each of them to introduce themselves to you as well as our listening and viewing audiences. And Cindy, you can go first. I'm sorry.
Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be a part of this podcast tonight and part of just an absolutely awesome book, being part of the number two, and introducing myself now as an author. So this is my first time saying that I'm an author. And among other things of working with children and being an early educator and advocator for everything childlike. I've been in early education for almost 26 years now, and it is truly a passion, and we're not looking back, we're gonna move forward. So I think that this book has even pushed us even forward with the passion and the dream to educate and love on our kids.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. We are glad to have you here this evening. And next up, we have Miss Tanya Camp.
She might have froze, Sharon.
That's what it looks like. Okay, well, we will, while we try to get Tanya back, we will hear from Nan Walker.
Good evening. I can add author to my title. I am Professor Walker. I currently teach at Atlanta Technical College. And yes, this book was a great opportunity to bring some things to the forefront and hear some perspectives from other educators like myself during COVID-19.
All right. My computer
All
keeps
right.
acting up and freezing.
Yes, we saw that. So hopefully it will act okay with us now and keep you unfrozen. So you can introduce yourself, Miss Tanya.
It's on her time.
It's on my time. See, but the computer is even telling you it's time. See, the computer said, wake up at 4 with me and we can do this podcast then. So I am Tanya Camp. I am an early childhood education professional, been in the field for more than 20 years. I am excited about this collaboration because it definitely hits close to home as professionals, giving us a platform to be able to allow people to understand we are not babysitters. I have more education than I probably would have ever gotten in the public school system, more training, more affiliations, more than anything would have ever happened. And so this is not a game. These little lives are not anything that we take lightly, and this profession is not anything that we take lightly. And so this allows us to have a platform, and I'm excited to be here and to have done this collaboration with these ladies.
So let me ask you, starting with Cindy, if you guys don't mind, when Sharon gave you the call that she's interested in you per se to collab with this project, what was your first reaction?
Oh goodness. Sharon hinted at it throughout our meeting because we actually just met each other. We met each other over Zoom in a training, and so being a part of a conversation each week. The more she heard me talk, she said, "You know what? We've got to talk. I've got some ideas. It's something I want you to be a part of." And so when she finally told me, it was a little nudge. I want you to come listen to some more. And now it really hit home because, so many times I've heard you've got a story, you need to write a book, you need to tell it. And, I've kind of brushed it off. But not only was it here and someone was telling me, there was the resource, it was a support, it was like no excuses. And so the first thing that I felt was that I had no excuse and I didn't have to do it alone. So to be able to collaborate, as Tanya said, all these wonderful early educators, that was comforting. And so that first thing was just, no excuse. You have no excuse.
Tanya?
When it was a natural, the next thing that needed to occur in the line of things that have been happening over the last 2 years for me, starting with an injury in 2019, almost the exact same day to when we had D-Day for COVID, March the 13th. It was 1 year to my anniversary that I needed to really reassess like what was going to be my next stage, because I believe that my body was like, it's time for you to do something different. And so it was through the nudging of one of my associates that was like, I think you have something that people would want to hear. And I was like, girl, I don't know if I want to hear what I got to say. And she was like, yes, they do. And then almost 2 months to the day, Sharon came and Cindy came with the invitation. And it just was like, okay, it's the universe is lining up. Go ahead and see what they're talking about. And let's see how this is going to line up with the things that have been going on for the last 2 years in your life. So
None.
For me, I kind of read the book. My sister is a co-author. And she was like, "Oh, you got to read this book. I went to the book premiere and da 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 da, and I'm gonna do the book." I said, "Oh, for real?" I said, well, I'll do it with you. Why not? So Sharon didn't come to me. I came to her and decided to take the journey with my sister so we could have something else that we do together. And it was a unique journey. Our journeys ended up taking us on two different roads not traveled, but it's been a good journey. Hmm.
Let me ask you, starting with Cindy again. Um, the way Tanya described it, it was more like a perfect timing, a reset, sort of say. And the book came along. Do you think going forward that the book is allowing you guys to be better educators going forward?
I don't know about better educators, but I think that we are better educators for ourselves because this book. I mean, we are strong in what we do. Very intelligent group of women, very passionate about what we do. What happens when you're in this industry is you give so much of yourself, you forget about yourself. And I think the book just brought to home what we needed for ourselves. So this was a time to be selfish in a job that doesn't let you be selfish. I mean, there's no time. You're always caring for someone, you're doing something for someone, you're loving someone, you're giving them everything that they don't have. And so I think it made us a better person versus a better educator because it was something that was for us, done by us. It was the internal work, like Tanya said, that had to be done. And, when I mentioned it to her, I said, you got to talk to Sharon. You got to talk to Sharon. I mean, it was a no brainer for Tanya. She was like, I already knew this is the next step. This is, and we've been going through this faith journey together for the last 2 years. And things we have stopped saying no to the doors that just open. And every week we're like, okay, I guess we're supposed to do that. Okay, I guess we're supposed to do that because that's how it's been opening and allowing to happen. So this became more about being a better person, more so than a better educator.
Come on, Tanya, don't be shy.
I was waiting for the invitation, sir. I was waiting. Um, I can concur with what Cindy said, and I can add to that it allows, and I'm gonna say it again. When Sharon brought it, I don't even think she totally realized like the value of what this does because we have been so not validated for so long this industry. And I kiddingly was joking I was about to start rapping on Sunday and it was like we in demand. Y'all, oh, now you want
Uh-oh.
She froze for a second. Nod, you might want to pick up right now.
Um, for me, it opened a whole nother purpose. It didn't make me a better person. There was something I had been struggling with. I knew I was supposed to write. I knew that God had been saying it, but I didn't know what I was supposed to write, and I didn't kind of know what I was supposed to do. So,
bonus. Oh,
but
now
I
you
was challenged with,
to
okay,
what we do. Can you hear me? I kept talking. I didn't stop. Now I don't know. Did you hear me? No. I got to start over.
We
We
had
heard
we
as
had
soon as you
lost you for a
started
second.
rapping. When
I
you
was
started
rapping.
your Sunday rap, that's
Because I
when you
thought myself.
froze.
And don't
They
worry
was
about
hating
this.
on my rap career. They was
Don't worry.
hating on my
Don't,
rap
don't worry
career.
about it. Now I picked the baton right up. Like
They
you never
hating on my
Yeah.
stopped
rap
it.
career.
So
It
we,
just
we
it validates us. It gives a validation. Not that I needed any validation because my life is already validated enough. But as a professional, this gives us a platform for validation to say and to give us a spotlight to be able to be like, not only are we educators and we are now a collective group of women that are professional authors. We have something to say. We have a file cabinet of stories and didn't know which ones to pull from, which ones to like you just don't even realize how many nuggets you take when you've been in this industry for so long. You take so many pieces that you forget the lives that that have been impacted or you've impacted But once we had this opportunity and platform, it just allowed that file cabinet to open up to be like, oh my goodness, we have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, do you want to continue? If you
Oh,
like.
yeah, it changed the perspective. I talked about something I never thought I would, which was my son. I never thought I would put it on black and white to actually, what's the saying? If you don't say it, then they don't have it. So I never really, everything's always a speed bump. But for people to have an understanding about the speed bump, I had to describe the speed bump. So it is probably going to be the only time ever that it will be that candid in there about his diagnosis and everything, because now it's through. We're getting through COVID. It's on to the next. So it's not like oh my God, it was when we were writing the book, which was at the beginning of the school year when things were really just all chaotic. And it was like, how you feeling now? And I put what I was going through as a parent, as an educator, because my son is autistic, among some other things. He's he's differently abled, but that just means he does things a little different. He's still very able. He just does it differently than some people. And so it was different to write it and then look at it that I wrote it. And then I was like, God, he's going to be mad that I wrote this about him. But then his sisters was like, no, he's going to be proud because you document your journey and your fight within yourself for how you felt for him and by him and what you want for him and your goals and dreams for him. So no, he's not going to be upset. And I was like, okay. So,
Well, to give you some comfortability, Nan, is that the last year or so, I have been educated on our little people who are in the spectrum. I know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff when it comes to that. I have a couple cousins that are autistic, so I know how it is for a lot of parents to openly speak about that journey. And actually, I did a show about a year ago with three young ladies who were all their kids had different parts of the spectrum, and they shared some very interesting stories. And it's definitely a journey. It's definitely something that we all, even if we don't have smaller children or kids in the spectrum, we need to understand what's going on with our younger people, as well as the parents and some of the fears that you may have that you don't share with nobody. Because trust me, I truly understand.
mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys: have you had your pinch me moment? Like, this is surreal. I know that Cindy and Tanya, you guys speak about this energy and the doors opening up, and sometimes when you get on that journey and it just takes you, you never have a chance to really be like, it's happening. Have you guys had that moment yet?
I think I had it. My first pinch me moment is when I let my son read chapter 1, my first chapter, and he started crying. And I said, "Are you okay? Is it okay?" And he said, "Do you see me over here?" And because it's a story that's personal, but I had never told it, and he had never heard it, and he had questions, and that was like blown to me. And so I think my second pinch came today because I announced to my leadership team that I work with at Georgia State about the book, and their excitement, their being elated, them thinking of a whole program around the book before they even read the book. They're like, how can we use this with our parents? How can we use this with educators? How can, just their excitement. Those are just moments to get the feedback, because I think for me, like Nan said, it's out there now. Who's going to read it? What are they going to say? That's what I was going through then. And, you're it's your, it becomes one of those things when people say they're passionate and it's your baby. So this became this baby, but it almost became the baby. I'm not ready for you to come see him yet. He's not taking visitors yet. And now it's kind of out there. So I'm pretty sure some more pinch me moments are going to come. But those two were very close and real. To know that whatever those words were that I put across there drew emotion. And I think I'm trying to accept that.
Great. Hey, Tanya, your computer had froze and it looked like you was dozing off.
Yes, it is really acting like it's time to go to bed. I don't know. I can't. This is just too much. But I'm still in not a pinch moment right now. Like people are like, "What you mean you write a book?" Like they saw it, but like I keep getting a response in all my messenger, and it was like, "No, no, like for real, you wrote the book. Like you put pen to paper. Like you really, really wrote the book." Even the people that came to support was like, "No, we thought you were gonna do like a poetic justice type of reading thing. Like you that person. Like, did you really write the book?" I was like, yes. So the community is cracking up because
Uh-oh.
Tanya froze on us again.
She freeze. She playing freeze tag.
Nah, you got that baton.
Um, let's see. I had my aha moment when I put it up on my screen for my students, and they were like, "Okay, so we can purchase this where?" And I was like, "Wait, y'all want to purchase my book? Y'all want to read about me?" They were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh Jesus." Then I had a moment like Cindy said, like, I was like, "Do I really want them to read about me?" But then I'm like, it's out there. So I can't stop anybody. It's on Amazon. You can Google, like Sharon said, Google me, please. It's there. It's there. There's nothing I can do now but embrace what is gonna come from it. So it's there.
Well, it's interesting because this I don't want to speak about her like she's not on the screen, but Sharon is definitely a remarkable woman. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
she knows
Mm-hmm.
she's been given the gift of being able to make certain connections and being able to inspire during COVID, which is very very hard. We all
Mm-hmm.
going through like, I know how it is for you guys down there where I'm at. The clusters are just getting worse, and um, it's coming. It's coming. It's about to be a serious lockdown where I live at. And Sharon, for her to be able to pull off not one miracle but two miracles during COVID is definitely a blessing. So, Sharon, you could speak
Yes,
now. You're
sir.
not on the speaking ban or anything. You could join the conversation.
I don't know. No, I'm only playing. So you know what? It's funny as you asked about the pinch me moment. I think for me, like I don't know if like the true because I've been so focused on my
Mm-hmm.
authors in both books, taking care of them, making sure they were getting what they needed. And I mean, even though I wrote in the book as well, I think that I have not truly like sitting here listening to everybody. I was like, wait a minute, you've been a part of two books in 180 days during a pandemic, girl. And so I think I'm still embracing the fact that not only did I become an author, but I pulled together,
Mm-hmm.
9 other people for the first book and 6 other people for the second book. And to be honest, I didn't. It wasn't it wasn't like a hard sell. There she is. It wasn't a hard sell. I simply put out the invitation and I said, "Would you like to join me? I'm doing this project. I think you should. I think you should try. Come to the orientation at the information session and listen and see if it's something you want to do." And everybody I asked didn't say yes. And so I think that for the people who said yes, it's supposed to happen. And so I feel like I'm just being used as a conduit to reach out to people who have this desire and give them the opportunity to do it. And I love what Tanya said to me and what she has been saying, and it's so true. And I said it, but not in so many words. And hearing her say it made it different. That we now have a platform where our voices can be heard because
Mm-hmm.
we're always overlooked in the early childhood field, birth to age 5. We're babysitters and nobody pays us any attention. Nobody gives us any props. The teachers and we teachers at every level, we are the least of these as far as salaries are concerned. And so for me to be able to have that platform to allow us to come and have our voices heard, that is it giving me even more drive to reach my mission, to reach my goal of 1,000 authors. So we
I thought
shall
you, Sharon. I thought you tried to drop it down to 100.
no, I did. Well, when I was
Mm-hmm.
writing it, I did say 100, but God and I had a conversation because when I was writing it over on my big board, I wrote 100, and I heard, why you say 100? Why not 1,000? And I said, because I know I can do 100. And that was the aha moment, that if I can do 100, I don't need God's help. So I had to do the 1,000 because I can't fathom that. I don't know what that's going to look like. All I know is that is my mission. So
Well,
here we go.
good evening, Deborah.
Good evening, and please excuse me for being late. I was looking forward to this all day, and errands got in the way, and then hunger got in the way, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting there dining while you all are diving in.
This is your second show.
It
Yeah.
is because this is my second success with Sharon as a collaborator, and 2 victories. I am just praising God. I'm so excited about it. You're right. This is my second show. I'm in
Wow,
volume 1 and volume 2, and I am so excited.
wow. I mean, I'm a little taken aback. I mean, I may ask you guys questions, but I'm really proud of you guys. Me and Sharon. I don't know if Sharon explained to you how we met. We met through one of the collaborators from the first book, and like I said, she's a godsend. If you believe in the universe and the universe not making any mistakes, you'll know that this journey that all of us are on, because now we're all connected, some way somehow, can take us places that we'll never imagine. Does anybody have anything great to say? I mean, I don't know what else to say to you guys. I know Tanya's giving me that look up there, like, look, buddy.
I just wanted to say thank you to Sharon for the opportunity and for the growth and for blooming us and for challenging us to look at ourselves and pull out the hard things that we may not have wanted to discuss, or the things that were in there. The surface things, they were easy, but the real actual inside of it, the nitty gritty, as the old folks say, challenging us to get to the nitty gritty and to be able to put paper to pen and speak about it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for trusting and joining in.
Well, Quentin, I want to say I don't believe in the universe, but I believe in the God of the universe because He created all things, and I believe that nothing is an accident or a coincidence. It is divine appointment that we all have met, and I want to encourage each author on here. If you, as you have recognized, this is my second time with you all, and I know there's going to be seconds and thirds and fourth for each author on here. And Quentin, we're still waiting for your first, baby.
Hey, Deborah, you just reminded me of something. Um, I do on Tuesdays. I do a poetry show with my cousin and some poets. So
Mm-hmm.
I can ask you guys the same question that I asked them last night. And we're gonna start with Sharon, then Cindy, then Tanya, then Deborah, and then Nan, right?
Okay.
Okay. You ready, Sharon? It's the same
I'm
question.
ready.
It's the same question for everyone.
Okay.
Does life imitate art or art imitate life?
Oh wow. So personally, I believe that art imitates life. Um, because especially when you think about the books, they are our stories. These are things that have already happened, things that we've gone through, and we have just as I think it was Nan or Tanya said, put pen to paper and have made it a reality. And I think that I personally, even with everything, I've said it before, I think that art imitates life. I don't think that it happens um, in art and then, sometimes it may, but in this instance, this work of art, um, the life happened first. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I'm going to say that art imitates life because once that art is done, it's done and that's it. In our book, it's done, it's in black and white, it's printed, that's what it is. But life keeps changing, and I get a new art piece.
Now, y'all know you got to say the question again because my computer decided it want to take a break. So what now? What we doing?
Tanya, we'll
What we
start.
doing?
Does art imitate life or life imitate art?
I think it's simultaneous. I think it is a delicate walk. It is a dance. And those who can listen to the tune and get into the harmony and the rhythm can flow. And it takes for you to decide that it's not a career anymore for us, that it is your passion and it is your charge for what it is that you're doing. And we have delicately painted with different type of tools what it is that we have experienced. As I said, we have a file cabinet of experiences and now we can put them on a tapestry. So they go hand in hand.
Mm. Deborah.
I believe that art imitates life. I think art is birthed out of and it comes forth from. And so with us being the source, as God was from the beginning and he has no beginning, no end, he was. And so I think it comes from life because we are the source. We
Hmm.
are the source. Again, we put the pen to paper. We come with the experiences. We come with the ideas. We come. So we are the source in any and every situation, not just with this book, but I think it's from everything. The art of creating new life, being our children, the art coming forth from us as educators with our experiences. And so I believe that art is just an imitation of what already is from whatever that source is,
No.
that life source.
Well, I believe that art is an example of the life that we're living. So as we live our life, art comes out in everything because art is actually a creative expression of ourselves. So it can be in the clothes you wear, the makeup you put on, the way you curl your hair, how you walk, how you talk, how you sing. Your very being, the art comes out of the life that you live. So when you look back and you look at people in history that lived a wonderful life, rich life, you find song, you find music, you find art, you find history, you find paintings, you find so many different things that have nothing to do with the amount of money in your pocket or the place that you are, but the person that it comes from within. So that's my take on that.
Okay. It's no wrong answer. I just, I wanted to get everybody's because you guys are artists, just to get everybody's answer for that. Sharon, you all right up there?
I'm wonderful. I'm listening to these amazing women share their thoughts and their perspectives. So yes, I'm great. Um, I know I just want to put this out there and they can because it's almost like your pinch me moment.
What does your
Um
T-shirt say, Sharon?
oh, aha. A Sharon D. Hudgens collaboration in the trenches. Stories from the heart of early childhood professionals. So and the back has your quote on it, Quentin. I have to show it to you later on. There's some print on the back of the t-shirt as well. I have to send you one maybe.
Let me ask the ladies one more question. With COVID and being educators, and you guys love what you do because it ain't about money. Um,
Oh.
what is the biggest obstacle like you guys are facing during COVID? Cindy.
I'm going to say it's been the same obstacle we faced before COVID. And it's just like Tanya said, to get you to believe that we're not babysitters. And it is becoming more evident and apparent, but we've had to stick to our guns to that. And I think that out of this huge negative situation that we're in, parents are learning that. Um, Higher education that didn't necessarily look at early education up to a certain level or understanding that. Business owners are understanding that. To whatever level of work that you have been in, profession, you looking for me. You knocking on the door. You trying to figure out, oh my goodness, how did you get them to do this? How do it's there? That's the thing. It was still the fight. It was still the same fight. Because in this industry, we're being pushed, especially in the ages of 0 to 4.5 to 5. We're being pushed to open for care, not for education.
Mm-hmm.
All these schools are virtual to keep kids safe.
Cindy, if you don't mind, could you say that one more time?
All of it?
No, no. That you're
Push.
being open for care.
Right.
Open for care. Right. They're looking for us to be open for care and not education. And we have stood our ground on we are educators. And you're learning that. And the calls that we got, even in month 1, calls that said, you weren't lying. You right. This kid listen, when y'all gonna open up? No, when we're gonna educate. And so very quickly on, we started educating. We'll provide this to educate your child. You can come on virtual with us to educate your child because that should be the importance. But when I tell you everything within the state, everything within our city that pushed, the first line of care that could open up was childcare for the essential workers. Not putting that down that they needed, yes, but you didn't say they needed education. You said they needed care. So right there, the same fight. When you say what was that, there was not a new fight. We just had to fight it a different way. And again, just like the book, it became another platform to say, are you for your child's education? Because most people think that before the age 5, that is not education. And so we have to change that in this industry. And I believe that if we don't take this opportunity to change it, it's going to be a missed opportunity. And that's kind of what the book is probably going to bring a little bit more to light as well, because it was done during COVID to let you know we're still here. We didn't stop doing what we were doing, but now you realize what we were doing.
Wow. Tanya, you there? Look how Tanya froze.
I know. She was there.
She freezes at the most opportune situations, right?
right in the middle of
Here
answering a
she go.
question. Is
Tanya,
she back?
unmute your mic, Tanya.
And now my little pause right there. I
Yeah,
just wait for it to come back.
it keeps freezing, Tanya.
I know, and
Like like
I'm upstairs and the router is downstairs, so I just do not feel like taking this whole
no.
computer and going downstairs near the router because it's telling me what to do. I'm like, not today.
You're perfect. You're perfectly fine. Look at it, froze again.
She froze again.
9. You want to answer the question if you don't mind? The obstacles, which I think Cindy kind of sewed it up for everybody. I mean,
Really.
you guys ain't in the care business, but your students are a little bit older. They're young adults, right? Oh, so they probably miss you.
They're trying to keep me from being great. They're trying to keep me from being great. That's
It
all it
sure
is.
is.
That's all it is.
It can't stop you.
They can't stop me. But I would
Mm-mm.
say the irony and the funny part about the COVID is that the things that they were talking about, precautionary measures, we've already been doing that. And so we laugh about it because like you should have already been washing your hands. Like this is some things hygienely that we may have idiosyncrasies of because we're child care providers now. But you should have already been doing that. So it only highlights what people have not been doing. We're already doing those things, and so I laugh because they're probably going to be the least likely environment to have the outbreaks going on because we're so clean about what some of us. Let me say some about the cleanliness and the things that go on in childcare, but
Mm-hmm.
it only allowed the undercurrent to become a very big tidal wave.
Mm-hmm.
And so the conversations, as Cindy said, they're gonna it's gonna continue because we're getting calls still now. We told you
Ah,
I'll finish her
what needs to
statement.
happen.
We told you what was going to happen. We told you how we're going to proceed. And she'll tell you the calls keep coming back from the same people, and we keep giving you the same answer. We're not changing what we believe. It's going to be safety and education. And if you're not for those two things, go down the street, go around the corner. That is fine. But you're going to take us in the book. The book just messed that up because now we're just like, hey, I wrote a book about it.
You that just gave us the superpower and say even further with what we've already been saying with authority. Don't play with us. It's your child. And yeah, they things that are
Well,
occurring happening and we're not. We are
mm-hmm.
not because you will respect this. You gonna put some respect on our profession.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
we'll see. I can agree with them because I used to teach pre-K and be a child care director and all of that. And now, as the college professor, I teach early childhood education. So I hear what my students, they sound like them and how they feel. So I can respect that as well. But then you have me, the parent, who understands everything. Now, for me, I needed Aiden to go somewhere and get something. He just needed to be safe and be able to go outside. I could do the teaching. I just needed to be able to teach my own students because I had to work.
Mm-hmm.
And having his computer propped up next to my computer and a teacher that wasn't fully Zoom competent. So I had to do this all day and got the neck whiplash from whipping back and forth between the computers and trying to help him with his work and do my work. I was that parent that was like, can somebody help? I got the white flag going. We've been in this trenches since March. He done had a million meltdowns. We done did the zones of regulation therapies 100 times. We done gone outside. I done bought this $1,500 dog. I subscribe to these Mommy and Me art box kits, and we do all this artwork and all this stuff all the time. I mean, created a whole curriculum during this COVID thing. But yeah, I still was the parent that's like, yo, I got you. I'll come help you teach, but just teach him. That's all I need you to do is teach him. I didn't need anything else. I understand the education. And I actually thought it was rather funny because when I would be sitting on the Zoom and I'd be seeing the parents like this and seeing the parents with the rulers and stuff, I was laughing because I was like, well, now you know how the teachers felt. Because they've been telling y'all that y'all kids was bad as a fool. Y'all ain't believe it. But now y'all home with them all day. Now y'all got to deal with the same things that we've been saying. They don't listen. They're not paying attention. They don't know what they're doing. And now you get to feel how we feel. So maybe you got a strategy that worked better than ours. You tell us and we'll use it again when they come back. But until then, let me see what you got. So I understand all of that. I got all of that. But for me, it's more so about him just
Tag you it, parent, tag you it, parent,
he
tag you it. We had it
right.
for
I'm
all
the
these
parent.
years. Tag you it.
I'm it, and I done tagged it off because I paid for him to go to a learning pod. And that learning pod is good for him because he's with other second graders. He's with other students because he's a child that needs that socialization, emotional and social piece of working with a buddy. That he learns better like that. He's a tactile learner. This whole virtual engagement thing is the number one issue for an autistic child because they don't like computers like that. He's not computer savvy. He's hands-on. He's tactile. So he'd rather be over there where if he throw his computer down, they don't make him get back on it and they print his worksheets off and he does his work and then he can go paint and go to recess and go eat whatever snacks he wants all day from the snack table. He'd rather do that than sit at a computer for 6-7 hours a day. For him, oh, absolutely. He opts out all the time. I'm like, well, did you do that on purpose? He's like, yeah, I did. Like around 11, I was tired of it. So I just closed it. And I knew that would get me outside for some walking time. I said, well, why you just didn't ask for a social break? He said, because they're only like 10 minutes, but I really wanted to just play. I'm just tired. I wanted to just go out there and just run and play. I said, so how long did you run? He said, oh, well, they let us go out there. And I was out there for like a good 30, 40 minutes. I said, well, did you feel better? He said, I did. Then I wanted to come in and read a book. I said, okay, I can work with that. Because a lot of it is unrealistic expectations. No child is going to sit for 6 hours in front of a computer. I don't want to sit in front of a computer.
Right.
So to realistically think they're going to transition off and on every 10 minutes, like little switches. For a normal child is okay, but an autistic child, the switch going to go off one time and it ain't coming back on the rest of the day. It's off. It's gone. He didn't flip that switch. You might as well let it be because it's not coming back. So it's been a unique balance.
Do the switch move again, man. Do the switch move again.
Because that's really, I mean, if you look at their schedule, it's like break, virtual, break, virtual, break, virtual. And I'm going, these are little kids. Aiden can't read. So how are we supposed to read this schedule that says break, not break? Go here, go there. I'm like, yeah, okay. We're just going to do the best we can do. And okay, that's all we can do. And I'm going to pray for you because his teacher, because you got 30 of them like that. So I'm just going to pray. So, you know what I'm saying? I understand everybody's perspective. But the only thing I miss are my students because I do wellness checks. I do mental health checks. I do self checks. My students have students that are in this system. I have an adult population that has children that are going through things. So I miss being able to reach out and touch them and see them and check on them and give them, like, it's Thanksgiving coming up. We always do a Thanksgiving drive. I'm used to making sure all my students got food, making sure they have their things, making sure they have it. I call them, but it's not the same thing. I miss that part of making sure that the rest of the student is okay, not just the student that attends my class for that, twice a week, but that student that's a mom, that's a parent, that's a wife, that's a mother, that's a sister, that's a daughter, that's a person, that's a woman, making sure that or man that person is intact and that person is okay. That's my thing that I miss the most about being virtual is just that piece.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. And looks like it's going to be our final question. I guess it's a question. So you ladies have been through the process, and there are going to be other people who watch this video who are in the same place where you were 3 months ago. What message would you give to other educators about this opportunity and about this experience?
I I would like to share because I really want to piggyback on what everyone said about COVID and segue into your question.
Okay.
Is that with COVID, when you think about the word, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about what COVID did. COVID caused an outrageous visibility to identifying the dilemmas in education. COVID caused an outrageous visibility. Everyone's looking at it. Everyone has been affected by it. And it's being identified. All the dilemmas in education is being recognized all around the world. The deficits, the special needs, the need for education in lieu of just babysitting. The parents, everyone is being aware of the gaps that are being broadened because education is not very present now because we're having to incorporate not only childcare with them being home and bringing food boxes to them, but now we have to educate them on technology. They have to become aware of it. They have to become tech savvy like almost overnight just to be able to keep up with the race. All of these areas are being identified now. It doesn't matter, like I said in the last podcast, it doesn't matter the caliber of person you were. It doesn't matter your position. If you have children, anyone in education, whether you are in front of the chalkboard or behind the chalkboard, you're a teacher or you're a parent, you are impacted now. Everything is being identified with who learns how and where is the best forum for them to be taught in. Everything is being identified. All of the dilemmas, D and COVID, dilemmas, and they're being brought to the forefront. So what I want to say to everyone out there in education land, write about it, tell about it, talk about it, reach those who have been ignored, who haven't had a voice. We have opened this platform for you to come behind us. There are droves of educators. Everyone comes through an educator before they can get to their final destination in their career. They have to be taught, no matter what type of learner you are, kinesthetic, tactile, auditory, visual, all different needs are having to be addressed, are having to be identified. We need to write about it. What's the best way to tackle it? What's the best way to handle an autistic person? How do we get that tactile person, the movement and getting up? Should we just put on videos, or do you as the PE teacher have to get up and physically move in front of them? What do? Who are the breaks for? Nan was saying break and then schedule, break it for schedule. I think Nan, you might be a little misunderstood that schedule, because I don't think that break was for the kids. I think it was for the educator. All those breaks. We need breaks in between. Stop messing with the schedules. That's a dilemma you have to look at. I wrote about that in my chapter in volume 2. There are a lot of issues being identified through COVID. And those of us that now have this platform, that the voice has been created for us, I encourage you to write, to speak on behalf of educators, on behalf of the children, and even behalf of those who are even in the decision makers, as I call them. Everything needs to be addressed. And so this is kind of a blessing in disguise, because we have been overlooked, we have been undercredited, but now it's coming to the forefront in an outrageous way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Deborah. Tanya, are you frozen or no? She looks frozen. Darn. Cindy, you want to weigh in?
I will say that this is the opportunity to speak up. If you don't speak up, no one's going to know the story. It's the opportunity to tell the untold story of early childhood educators. This is the time to show that we are professionals in our industry. And this is the time to know that although we have passion and we have exploitation of our passion, because people know we're going to do it regardless. We're going to buy the supplies when they don't have it. We're going to show up when it's past our hours. We're going to be there. We're going to do it. But this is the opportunity to show that you are a professional in your industry. You're not just a one-year-old teacher. You're not just the director. You're not just the para. You are a professional in your industry, and this is the opportunity and time to show it. And I love, like Tanya said, we have that platform because you don't hear about this every day that an early educator wrote a book. The doctor writes a book, the pastor writes a book, the principal writes a book, the superintendent writes a book. But let me tell you, baby, early educators, we got a book. That file cabinet is open, and they're going to keep coming, and we're going to tell the real story, and you're going to figure out which child was yours. I'm going to leave the name anonymous, but you will figure it out.
Tell it, Cindy.
So this is going to be the opportunity, because one of our biggest pushes, and Tanya and I have been, we met each other establishing more in our profession, being more in our profession, becoming trainers in our profession, because we push. You have the opportunity and the resources and the support is there. I can't make you want it, but I can hold you accountable and those around me accountable. So we carry ourselves as professional. And like I said, I wrote a book about it. That's all I'm gonna keep saying. That's my tagline. That's my new shirt. I wrote a book about it. Like to hear it, here you go. So I think it's an opportunity for us to be professional.
They can Google you, Cindy. GMB, they can Google you, Cindy.
They can Google me. Google me. That's the other T-shirt.
That's right. That's right. Well, I appreciate you ladies taking the time to come out to piggyback on what you all have given the input as far as joining us because the journey will continue. Volume 3 will be getting started. I think volume 3 or 4 will be in Dallas. But you can email me at info@inthetrenchesbc.com if you are interested in telling your story and sharing your story. I will be looking for early childhood professionals to become authors from now until info@inthetrenchesbc.com.
I'm glad you ladies could join the show tonight. I always say that I have a front row seat to all this, so I'm absorbing as much information as possible. I don't have a young child, but I do know after this episode, you guys are educators. You're not caretakers, so. Yeah, I know the difference, right, Tanya and Cindy? They definitely let me know.
That's right.
I appreciate you guys for being able to spare your time and come on the show. And once again, it's been a pleasure, and I thank y'all. And
thank you for having us, Quentin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quentin, for all the listeners, I almost forgot to promote. For all of the listeners, if you go to inthetrenchesbc.com, we have a coupon for you for $5 off of the volume 2 In the Trenches book purchase. And that will be good. I don't know. Maybe I'll run it all the way through maybe I will run it all the way through Christmas. How about that?
Great. With that, like I said, thank you, ladies, for joining us the show tonight, and everybody that's in the chat, have a blessed night and stay safe.
You too.
Thank